what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
It's Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's...
Booty! Sick! Booty!
Fucking deal with it. What are we really doing?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
A zebra in between a tarantula and an elephant
has been nothing more than a sham.
Yeah, we didn't play well, but you know what? At the end of the day, we got the job done.
It's going to be a good time for sure.
Oh, sex with the first cousin would indeed be incest. And
all right, welcome to the Straight Red Card. Lots to talk about today, lots to get to. Nothing about gluing your balls to your butthole. Nothing on that today. Although that was a great song. You remember how
many shows ago was that?
I don't know, a few. I glued my balls to my butthole again. Something like that, right?
That little jazzy uplift beat to it.
I wonder how those shows get away with not being banned, because they do not meet some of YouTube standards for, their depravity standards,
Well, they may not get monetized. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Post and not get monetized. I don't know. I have to take a look at the whole thing and see where they're maybe advertising, like, hey, come to this link next for more good ones.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to get to today, so we're just going to hop into some things, but I have to start with what was the one thing? Oh, I want to congratulate the crew. Let's start with the crew.
Oh, we'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah. Want to do that. And then there was that John Bon Jovi coming out admitting that he had 100 girls in his life. I was thinking that was rather low. He did that interview and said, I've been with 100 girls. Didn't you think that was a low number?
No, I would have thought so. Yeah.
I mean, for a rock star of his size at the time, and when I say size, I don't mean his member. And he was a fairly good-looking guy. You would have thought he would have cracked 100, no problem. So I was a little surprised by that. He says that he was lucky to get, out with basically no venereal diseases. Yes, I would guess that would be true.
And we're going to get to that.
Yeah, really?
We're all over the place, and I've got it all covered.
Yeah, we were having this joke. My parents and I were having after dinner, and we were talking about they're going to get a new dog because one of their dogs died pretty recently. They're like, you know what? They can't come up with a name. They had like a list of 50 names. I don't like any of them. My dad doesn't like any of them either. And so we said, well, why don't we come up with something really different? Maybe even something that's shocking. So it's like, can you imagine this? You're out walking the dog runs off into the yard and you have to yell at it. And you're like, clitoris, get over here right now. So we started going through all that. Chlamydia, get over here, chlamydia.
It's always the running gag in like middle school and stuff like that, naming your dog like penis. Like, yeah, my little penis has a spiked color.
Syphilis, get back here right now. I don't know. I think that.
Obviously the stereotypical one is always like little shit. So you can be like, little shit or whatever. You're like, hey, you little shit, get over here.
A lot of dogs
get back here, fucker.
A lot of dogs respond to that because they get called that enough.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say there is a show called Canned Fish Files. I found it very odd that how soccer shows have kind of a ceiling, like they can't get bigger than so big, no matter what they're doing, because U.S. soccer is a niche. It's a niche interest area.
Well, of that small population, how many of them actually frequent and look for content on YouTube?
I don't know, but if this guy's got like 250,000 followers, and all he does on Canned Fish Files is open canned fish, anchovies, sardines, and he eats it, and then he rates it. That's all he does. But he's got 250,000 people that follow his show.
I'd have to see what type of content it is as a whole. There was one guy who used to sit in his car and would try random food stuff, and he'd order a dehydrated tarantula or a scorpion and stuff like that. And he has like this kind of wispy, lispy Southern accent type thing going on, and he's freaking out the entire time and touches his lips like, oh god.
Well, I can get eating freaky stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, not even freaky stuff. It's the way he approaches his content and how he entertains while doing it. Because it's hysterical to watch him.
Dame Drops or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And he used to go to Burger King and on them rate all their food. And then you got that skinny white guy who dresses up all nice and he talks like this, and then he tries out new foods. He's kind of freaky looking, actually. He's got like really long, skinny fingers. Anyhow, he's got like 500,000. Anyhow, it's just kind of weird to figure out what people are watching on this platform and what's really that popular. And obviously, soccer's just not apparently the biggest thing out there, is it? Well, at U.S. soccer, right?
Yeah, there are soccer channels out there. Yeah, U.S. soccer is obviously going to be a niche at that point, but there are soccer channels out there that do pretty damn well.
Yeah. And they're ones that cover specific clubs that do well, like the Chelsea guy we used to watch. I mean, his show went through the roof, really. I did see Oppenheimer. I thought it was great. Amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, go see it. I think they tried as best they can to stay historical, which I think is admirable in these days where movies like Napoleon come out and suck. What else we got here? So I already congratulate. Oh, by the way, the kid I couldn't remember last show that we had tracked for some time from Argentina was Matko Miljevic. He was he's currently at Newell's Old Boys. So when he went back to Argentina, but he had a brief 2-year spot with Montreal when they got him from Argentinos Juniors. And he played for our U20s, I believe. Yeah. And he just has disappeared off the radar for the most part. All right, I'll let you
talk about some of those young phenoms as well. Do you want to get the turn background real quick?
Oh, yeah. Turn the background says, welcome back to the straight red card. The verdict is in and the jury is hung. My wife can attest. But the verdict on the Gio to Forest loan is in, and it's not good. Bigger fail than my marriage. Oh, all right.
That was a great play on words there.
I know. I like
the
that.
The jury is hung. My wife can attest. I was actually going to crack a joke about that, but he already cracked it. I was like, yeah, look at that.
I don't really think your marriage has been that bad, Turd. Honestly. I mean, even though you're a cuck, essentially, but...
Occasionally get a reach around.
Yeah, occasionally. You've had some good moments with her. You've said them here, so I think it's all good in the end, as long as you can handle it. Mr. PT69 for $5 says, stepsisters are on, but grooming stepdaughters is where we draw the line. Woody Allen is a sick fuck. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
It's gonna be on one of our intros of our shows. Just that line.
Yeah.
Stepsisters are on, but grooming stepdaughters is wrong.
Totally got to draw the line there. And first cousins, as is in the intro. So, all right.
Thanks for the 5 there, Puto.
We do appreciate it, sir. Cheers to you.
I don't know if anybody really remembers whatever it was, not this past winter, but the winter before. Derek was busy, doing a show, and there was a cat outside of his door screeching at him like, "Let me in! It's cold out here." And who knows what happened to that cat?
It wasn't really that cold. It wasn't.
So
you're making me out to be cruel. And
we found the cat. The cat's still alive, so don't worry about it, Derek. You can drop the guilt you have of the cat passing away in the cold.
Yeah,
the cat was frozen up there down on the ground, looking up at his patio like this.
Dude, it wasn't that cold. It wasn't that cold. All right. You got film of this cat, you're saying?
Yep, here he is. He's alive and well.
Oh, yeah, I seen this. He looks like he should have a straw in his mouth. That cat was born with an unfortunate or fortunate marking.
It's hysterical for the human beings who have to look at that cat every day.
Every day.
The cat probably doesn't give a rat's ass. Pat's like, what are you laughing at? Why do you look at me and laugh?
I mean, I always wanted to stick a straw in it for some reason. Here, it's straw. I'm going to get you some milk. You just slurp it up there, buddy. All right. Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, that's hilarious. Good God. All right. Oh, BMR's in the house. We got Chambers. We got Regelio. Cuban. I always get that one right. Cuban maker? Cubana maker. Cubana maker? Somebody said it's some sort of Japanese character and something, or rather, but I don't know any of that shit. So
I'm looking at that. I quickly looked and glanced at it, and I could have swore the word boner was in there.
It's not.
But it's not.
It
would have been funny if there was.
The only thing I know
maker.
Japanese is fudas. Futanaris, as they're called. All right,
Derek, we're going to pull up a screen cap you took of a Timcast. Video.
Speaking of Futanaris, that was totally accident. I had no idea we were going to this slide.
Well, Derek's in there. He's like, hey, pull it up. I'm like, yeah. I watched this. I know what happened.
Oh my God, that's just hilarious. Now I watched this because the headline got me. Reality show tricked men into hooking up with trans woman who later took own life in horrible story. It is a horrible story because she obviously committed suicide at the end of this. But his show goes back many, many years, I think.
Yeah, it's 2013, maybe, I think.
Something like that.
Something like that.
But anyhow, Miriam Rivera, who I guess is a Futanari in many ways. She's got boobs and she's got a penis.
Still capable of helicoptering, yep.
Yeah. The contestants, none of them knew. I think the weird thing about this is how upset the contestants were. Now, I understand being pissed at the producers, but they were pissed at her, which is, whatever. She's just there acting like they all get paid to be on this. And by the way, when you're signing up for a reality show, you're going to get surprises. That's the whole point, right? That's why they hire you.
Heavy surprise there, Derek.
Well, okay. But listen, if I were one of the guests,
at least 6 inches, 3 inches around, yeah.
But none of them ever got to second base, so nobody got to hit Miriam's anaconda, so nobody knew. And then at the end, she picked the winner, and then told him in front of all the other guys that she was still a man.
Pre-op, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's still dangling. I mentioned I was looking at the background here. It looks like they're kind of in a tropical location, or like Greece or something like that. At least where it's nicer,
right?
And I imagine that there would have been time spent at a pool. But how would you go about hiding all that? But maybe they didn't go to a pool for that reason.
Duct tape.
Yeah,
that's how you hide it, I'm guessing. But you know what? If I had made out with her thinking she was a woman, these guys acted like, it was the worst thing that ever happened to them. She looks like a woman. She's actually fairly attractive. She's got boobs. She looks like a woman. I would have been like, damn, okay. That had me fooled. I would have been like, man, you producers are deceitful little fucks. But I wouldn't have been mad at her. It's none of her fault. And when I say make out, obviously they made out with her, but nobody touched her private part.
Here's the issue, though. She went along with the deceit.
That's true.
So it's still on her too here in this situation. I mean, yeah,
but she's getting paid to do it just like they were, and I'm sure there was an agreement in the contract where she's supposed to keep that quiet.
Oh, 100%. That's the whole point of the show, right?
Yeah, I guess
it would have been a spoil alert if first date of first contestant. They're like, yeah, still have a penis. I'm working on that though.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been, I don't know, maybe I'm a freak, but with an open mind, but I would have been like, yeah, whatever. Okay, so it's not like I touched it, so I'm okay. It doesn't bother me that I kissed a trans. I would have been like, fine, I'm fine. She was very attractive. I fondled her boobs. They were nice. I didn't know what was down there, and I can get over it. Instead of getting all upset and pissed off, and I guess they chased the producer around the pool and threatened to beat him up or whatever, Yeah. So anyhow, it is what it is. But I think what's really sad is that in the end, she committed suicide. So
yeah, it's not a great ending there.
But that headline definitely caught my attention. Like, I had to watch it. I'm like, okay, what's this about? Because I've never heard of this show. And I still hadn't heard of the show once I watched the content. I'm like, I've never heard of the show, but I guess it did get played and then they dropped it off.
You know, if I would have thought about it, I would have pulled up the scene from Ace Ventura first movie. Einhorn's a man.
Oh, I thought you meant
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn's a man. And he spins in, you know, with the plunger. He's in the shower, burning his clothes.
Which movie is it where he hides inside of the vagina of like an animal?
Well, he was inside of a robot. It's the second one, Ace Ventura 2. When Nature Calls. When Nature Calls? I think it's what it's called. But he's inside of a rhino, a fake rhino, robotic rhino, because he wants to get close to these guys, trying to hear what they're doing. But the problem is that the little fan inside of it breaks down, so it's so hot in there that he's taking off all of his clothes, and it's not enough, so he needs to vacate. He's exiting out of the rhino, but it's out of the rectum of the rhino.
Oh, the rectum. Okay.
It looks like actually the rhino's giving birth, quite frankly.
I thought it was the vagina because the rectum isn't really built with a cavernous space like that. The rectum, the colon, while very elastic, isn't, you know, a cavern. We just had this discussion. Remember? No, we didn't ever have that. The woman with the giant vagina. We never really had that discussion, did we? Or maybe we did, and I don't remember it. But anyhow, yeah, there's more space in a rhino's vagina, apparently, or hippo, whatever he was in. I don't remember.
It was a rhino.
Okay. So, what do smoking cigarettes and eating pussy have in common? What? The flavor changes when you get to the butt. Oh my goodness. That's not really eating pussy then, is it, if you get to the butt? Unless he's saying you're doing the 69 so your nose is closer to the butthole.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of get the joke, but, you know, I kind of don't either.
I mean, it's only a quarter of an inch difference, man.
It's not much difference unless you're dating a freaky girl whose butthole is way far away from her vagina.
All right. Speaking kind of which,
okay,
Derek, I'm going to show you a photo, and if you don't see a duck, you're a sex addict. Okay.
Okay. If I don't see a duck, okay. Well, I don't see a duck. I see a man's face jammed in a woman's butthole. That's what I see. I do not see a duck at all.
How do you not see the duck?
I'm trying. I can't see it.
Look closer. It's clear as day. The duck's right there.
No, I don't see a duck. I don't see one. I don't see a duck.
How do you not see the duck? It's on the screen. It's right there.
No, it's not.
Waiting to see if anybody in the chat sees it, but they're just laughing.
I don't see a duck.
Puto says that's a guy eating an ass.
That's exactly what I see.
The duck's right here, Derek.
Oh, all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. Okay. I didn't know that's where I was supposed to be looking.
That's the whole point.
Okay.
I mean, I can't tell how long I was looking. Like, where's the beak at?
I know.
The eye and the ear? Is that what that? No, it can't work.
Somebody said that's called tossing salad. It is. It is. Yeah.
Man.
But it's also called eating ass. Either one, same thing. They're synonyms, I suppose. Probably multiple synonyms for eating ass. I mean, you got the rusty trombone, which is tossing the salad and honking the horn at the same time. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess while we're talking about sex addicts, are you familiar with these TikTok videos that are out there where this generation of women are talking about wanting to just go to town on like a circus of guys?
I mean, yeah, I see kind of weird videos like that all the time.
Like clown cars, and the people just keep coming out of the car. You know, she's ready.
Yeah, things like that. Sure. Oh, I think I've seen this. Oh, yeah.
This is a special sort of fucked in my opinion.
I mean, this is taking it to an extreme. Yes,
I think so.
I want to be passed around so bad, but my boyfriend just wants a monogamous relationship. It's 2024. Expecting to be with one person for your entire life is like unreasonable. Yeah. I'm a young 18-year-old Latina. I'm trying to get my face blasted by multiple men.
Her face blasted? Oh my God.
Hope she enjoys the herpes.
That's she doesn't have to touch it for that, right? This could be just bukkake hour.
Flattered. Yep.
Where she gets hosed. What kind of person says that? I want to get blasted by multiple guys.
Maybe she says it to her friends, like, dude, this one dick thing. Nah, not for me, man.
Holy Moses.
But to say it and post it on the internet, I have actually seen this video where people are talking about they think this is actually kind of a parody of all the other videos that are out and about.
Doesn't sound like parody. Does not sound like a parody, and it sounds like the owner of German Goo Girls should be giving her a call because they're always looking for new talent. This is insane. People post this stuff. It's just unbelievable. She's 18 and she's posting this?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
Like, I haven't even had a quickie in a bathroom stall.
That's
I know there's at least one woman in Indiana that has checked that off her bucket list. I know I told the story on the show before. But we went to an Indy. No, not me. No, we went to an Indy 11 game, and friends of ours opted to go to the bathroom, and that, obviously how the mic is set up with all the urinals, but the porta potties and stuff all lined up.
Sure.
And you have this massive waiting line type thing.
Right.
My friend was actually waiting to go to the next one. She could hear people in one of the porta potties having sex.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, how hard are you on that you're just willing to do it in there, man? That is some rancid shit, man.
Man, I've heard of the Mile High Club, but like striving to have a quickie in a bathroom stall is just not something I, really ever thought was something that people were trying to accomplish. Like that's on a bucket list somewhere. I guess.
Dude, I think it's cramped enough just trying to take a piss in an airplane's bathroom, let alone having sex with someone.
But it's the Mile High Club, right?
I position yourself this way, okay?
I mean, that's the whole thing about it. It's a whatever. I think it's stupid. Personally, I hate flying, so I wouldn't be able to concentrate.
No.
All right. So this lady's I wouldn't want to be her boyfriend for sure. Her boyfriend must have watched this and been like, "Okay, I'm outie. See ya." Because this ain't working out.
Yeah, but
for him.
I feel like maybe he wanted to be the first one to blast her in the face. Then he cuts rope and bounces.
I'm sure
I'm number one. You can go on and get the other 99 or whatever.
I'm sure he has, but play on. I think she mentions something about his anatomy.
Oh, she talks about their anatomy, not just his. Not his.
Well, if she's out there talking about others' anatomies being greater and wanting greater anatomy, that means you don't have it, right?
We'll get that in just a sec. Yeah.
I have so much to live for, and you're telling me that I have to stay with this one guy because I love him so much.
That's a lie. You don't love him.
Do you love him? If you do, this wouldn't
be a lie. You lie.
It wouldn't be a conversation if you really loved him. Trust me.
Yeah. Hey, honey, I love you, but I need to go and get these other 99 cocks first before we, tie the knot.
Yeah. No, that wouldn't happen.
But she's like, I could just leave. I could go and, hit the clubs, get the 99 cocks, come back, and then we get married, right?
Yeah. I just wouldn't want to be her boyfriend. Let's just put it that way. I wouldn't be her boyfriend. I'd be happy to be a one-night stand, but not her boyfriend.
But there's literally guys out there with 13-inch meats waiting to destroy me.
Meats. She calls them meats.
13-inch. Literally, how many guys are you talking about?
Listen, 13 inches. Listen, that's porn star stuff, man. That's a very, very large penis. So she can go for it, but it's probably going to be somewhat uncomfortable for her unless she's cavernous. So,
well, it sounds like she will be by the end of it.
Maybe that's what she's working towards. But yeah, it's kind of sad. 13-inch meats. Never heard it described.
Boyfriend's looking down going, Jesus, I thought 7 was fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Damn, Derek like Latinas? Yeah.
It would just be so unfortunate if I were to go my whole entire life without getting piped by at least 100 different people just to see who I like the most.
You can get that done in one day if you want. I'm sure it's possible. You could probably, if it's 100 you're looking for, if you made a goal in 7 days, you can probably get that done. right?
Just set up a stockade, right? Just hands and arms through it, and just have a sign. Hey, aiming to get 99 of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a healthy idea. We were just talking about John Bon Jovi admitting to 100 girls. I mean, he said, I'm lucky to still have a penis that functions, that doesn't have blisters all over it. And he's right. And she, you can have sex with 100 guys. I guarantee you not all of them are going to be protected. It's just how it works. Sometimes the rubber rips or tears and whatever. It's all a risk. Anyhow, it's kind of sad to see, actually.
Well, I mean, it's at the end. I doubt that this is necessarily what she's wanting, and I think that she's just saying this for shock value and clout and trying to hit big on the end towards. Maybe she has an OnlyFans.
Is this TikTok?
This is the tick of the talk. Yeah.
Oh well, then yeah, this could be anybody talking about anything. Yeah, they're just trying out. She's just trying to get attention. Because trust me, if she wanted to get, what she called fire hydrant.
Piped. She wants piped.
No, blasted. She wants to get blasted. She could get that done today. Today, if she wanted to. Just go on the street. She's good looking enough. Hand out some cards and said, I'm the American Goo Girl. Meet me at this address this time. And you can blast me.
I'm sure she goes to church 3 times a week too. She might have to get
to cleanse
some kind of forgiveness. Yeah.
Speaking of which, you see that
it's like Maria, you've been here twice this week already, and it's Tuesday.
Yeah,
talking about the number of guys you've boned. I mean, at some point, I think your forgiveness is going to get. I think the devil may end up taking you on this one.
I think there's a way for the priest to forgive her. I think there is. She can't imagine going her entire life without having sex in a confessional booth. Did you see? Yeah, right. Because that's one of her bucket lists. Did you see Russell Brand got baptized? Baptized, yeah. Huh. I didn't see that one coming. I mean, I've kind of saw the transition, from wherever he was. He was making that sort of transcendental move or whatever. Didn't know it was going to be that formal, though. So kind of weird. It just struck me as somewhat surprising. It shouldn't probably be surprising. Anyhow, yeah, she's going to end up like Chelsea Handler if this girl continues along this route. For me, that type of video is just like this video that Chelsea had posted, where the life of a childless woman, which kind of coincided with like the day in the life of a Twitter employee and stuff like that. That whole shtick that went about. Yeah. Of course, all those people have no jobs anymore because no, they don't. I think the people who were paying them were looking and going like, "Why the fuck are we paying them?" Yeah. But I have seen this clip. We're not going to play this clip. No, we don't want to play it. She does go on talking about you wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning, you smoke a bowl, you go back to bed, and then you get up and get a pedicure, do some yoga, go out for dinner, grab some drinks, and go to bed. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Which her life sounds very empty to me. It's like, don't get me wrong. I don't think you need to necessarily have children in your life to have a nice existence and stuff like that. But the fact that you make an entire video saying my life is great because I don't have children is my issue with it. Bill Maher does the same thing. Yeah. Just to be equal, right? Sure. Bill Maher says the same thing. I never wanted children. I don't want children. I hate children. You don't hate children. You've never had them. When they're your own, believe me, you won't hate children. Okay. And you got a chance as a father to do something. He's like, well, I don't know if I'd be a good father. Of course, you don't know that. No, nobody knows, that, though, right? No, nobody knows going into it that they're going to be an expert at being a father. That's the whole point. It takes balls to take that step, and believe me, it's well worth it. All right. And I have friends that don't have kids by choice and everything like that, and they're perfectly fine. But then again, they don't go around bragging about how. My life's great. I can do all this stuff because I don't have kids. Sucks for you guys. Right. Hey, if you don't want this to be a 30-minute show, we better cut any other fluff out now. Oh, we're done with fluff. We're moving on to soccer. All right. It's going to say 30 minutes. And I brought up 4 sex fluff pieces, so I think that's more than enough on the show. Well, I was responsible. Actually, 3. You brought the 4th one up. But yeah, I know. That's my fault. All right. Sorry about that. We're going to head to soccer now, or something soccer related. Here we go. Kevin Loyola. Now, so Kevin has had this thing where for like a week he went on a streak of good takes, right? Yeah. Good takes, solid takes. because prior to that, he had like 2 months of bad takes. He's back to bad takes. Because he says, well, this tax says, anyone else feel like the marketing or surrounding the 2024 Copa America has been very mediocre? We're less than 2 months away from it. Yes. I haven't seen a single commercial. I have seen no one at Fox boosting us up. I've seen nothing by U.S. Soccer
I've seen barely anything on Twitter, like Twitter ads. I've seen them pop up here and there, but not a whole hell of a lot.
And then Calvin Boyle has the raw stupidity. He's not a stupid person. I'm not saying that, but this is a rather stupid comment. Without final rosters out, you can't market players who may not be there. Yes, you can. Because if they're not there because they're injured, it's c'est la vie. The commercials are already out. Sorry. You know, how ridiculous of a this guy's obviously never marketed anything in his life. Like if I had a conference back when I was running conferences and Rick DeFore, like at the time, RIP, was the biggest educational speaker and he was supposed to be there, but his plane crashed. Well, what am I supposed to do about that? You know? I marketed that he was going to be there, and now he's not going to be there, and I'm going to have to go up and make an announcement. I'm sorry to say, Rick DeFore's plane crashed, and he is dead. So we have a replacement speaker. So, you know, it's just so stupid. This is so dumb. As well, he says, it's being marketed more via cities. Yeah, that's okay, but it's not enough. There's a national audience that needs to know about this. I doubt in Miami they have to market much. Tickets are flying with little ad spend. All right, that's Miami. There are a bunch of other cities too.
Well, no. So he's pointing out that like using Miami as an example, this is a city who's hosting a game, doesn't need to advertise because the tickets are flying off the shelf. But the thing is that the vast majority of people,
is he talking about Messi and Inter Miami?
I don't know. No, he's talking about he's talking about whichever Copa match is going to be in Miami.
Oh, that's what I thought he was talking about. That's what I said. Yeah.
Well, no, you made it sound like he was talking about like Inter Miami and stuff like that.
No. I knew exactly what he was talking about. And I'm saying, okay, so fine. They selling tickets, for Miami. That doesn't mean they're selling them all over. I don't know. And I don't really care about filling the stadiums. Yes, they're going to be full probably. But what about TV? That was my point, really. Yeah.
My point is the vast majority of people who are going to be watching this tournament are going to be doing it in the luxury of their own houses.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were a casual, which I'm not, but if I was a casual, how in the hell would I even know that this tournament was going to be played?
I guarantee I call my brother right now and tell him that Copa America is happening in 50 days, and he'll go, "What are you talking about?" He won't have any fucking clue whatsoever. None. Zero clue.
I mean, I could call my brother and say, "Hey, are you gonna take time off to watch Copa get matches?" Like, first off, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, he'll be like, "What are you talking about?"
Copa what?
I had to explain it to my mom last weekend. I'm like, "Yeah, Copa America is when usually it's just South American teams with some infights. This time it's all of America, North, Central, South, Caribbean." My dad was like flabbergasted. He's like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that was a thing." Yeah, of course you don't. And they've got normal TV. My parents have regular cable. They haven't seen a single commercial for it. They haven't seen anything. Nothing. They wouldn't know this tournament's happening, and they're casuals who enjoy watching soccer whenever it's on. My parents watch the Premier League every morning. Okay, they just do because it's something they put on the TV and they watch. They know all the teams, they know some of the players, but they don't know shit about Copa. So if you're trying to get casuals to watch this tournament, U.S. Soccer and Fox, you are failing miserably. I mean, IndyCar is horrible at marketing, and they do a better job at marketing IndyCar on NBC and Peacock than these guys are doing with one of the biggest tournaments coming up for the United States and the biggest tournament coming up for the United States until the World Cup. It's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, yes, we're not playing this, and I'm not blaming this on Mossy or Alexi because they don't come up with the titles for their shows, but this title is so stupid. You never have a title that you already know the answer to the question for. Would U.S. men's national team be able to win the Euros if they played in it this summer? No. The answer is just no. It would be a miracle if they won it. An absolute miracle. Okay? So,
Greece won it, and I think, Iceland made it to, like, the semis?
Greece.
Wales made it pretty far one year.
Well, somebody mentioned Denmark on the show, but yeah, Denmark had a freaking amazing team. Amazing team. It was like their golden generation. So it's not surprising that. Now, the Greece winning it was shocking at the time. Yes. Is there freakish things in soccer that happen? Yes. But if you had to put money on it, you're not putting money on the U.S. to win the Euros this summer. No way. They'd be like 1 in a million chance that could happen. And if they got out of the group stage, that'd be pretty good. But then they probably lose either that next round or the other knockout stage round, the quarters. But they'd be out. There's not winning this. Not against France, England, Germany, Italy, Portugal.
Well, we played England in the World Cup, and we took it to them.
We tied them.
I know that, but I'm saying that it's not like England came out and flat out dominated us.
No,
and I'm not saying that we'd go to the Euros this summer and win anyways. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, well, there's a possibility. It's always possible. Like you said, there's freak things that happened. But
man, you're sounding a lot like Jim Carrey right now. So you're saying there's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance. About as much chance as Jim Carrey had getting in her pants. That's how much chance there is in this. It's very small.
Hey, Jim Carrey got her into bed, Derek. He almost sealed the deal.
Even if you're France, this is going to be an uphill battle. It's not guaranteed. If you're Portugal, you've never won it before. Never. Think of all the great teams Portugal have had. I don't think they've ever won the Euros, ever. So it's difficult.
Portugal did win it.
I don't think so. Maybe they won it. Yeah, maybe they did win it once.
I thought Ronaldo had
Ronaldo. Yeah, Ronaldo did win it once.
2016 looks like.
Okay. But so look how many times he's played in the Euros, and he's only won it once. He's one of the best players in Europe. And so England struggled to win them, So, and they've got probably their best generation right now. Yeah, they just had a golden generation 10 years ago.
Anything's possible. The odds just aren't in our favor at all. So, but to be fair to your point, outside of a handful of teams, odds aren't in any of their favor.
Right. Listen, there's teams like Albania and whatever that were going to be better than that made it, but it would be a battle to get out of group, number one, and it'd be battle to make it any further after that. And it would take a Greece-like miracle run to make it happen. It really would.
Sure. Or Wales. Or even Iceland, for that matter, like I mentioned.
Yeah, that was a miracle run. You can make that, but they didn't win it, It's not like they won it. And that's what this says. Would the United States be able to win the Euros? Win. This is and then they don't even frame it like that in the discussion. So whoever made the title, that's just clickbait. It's clickbait. I don't like it.
Fair enough.
Because I clicked on it just to see how I said they can't possibly be having this discussion. Because they don't even frame it like that. They just say during the conversation, the person that wrote in said, how do you think the U.S. would do if they were in the Euros? That's a sensible question. How do you think they would do? And then they answer the question. That guy doesn't frame the question as, can we win the Euros? No, because he's smarter than that. The guy who sent in the question's not a dumbass. All right? Anyhow, it's like saying, can we win the World Cup? I'd like to think that we had a chance, but the chances are still very small.
Sure.
Home field advantage 2026 makes it better for us to get maybe to a quarter, maybe a semi if we're really stretching it. But that's an amazing run even if that happens. So I think we forget how good teams are. Brazil's and the Argentinas and even Germany in their current state just whooped our ass here at home in a friendly.
Well, they whooped our ass in one half. That was enough, right?
That's all it takes. Yep.
It's the equivalent of like saying Brazil whooped our ass in Copa. Well, yeah, they had a really good second half. That's all it took, right?
That's all it takes. Yep.
That's all it took.
All right.
Okay, well, we're gonna. You mentioned at the beginning of the show that you wanted to congratulate Columbus.
Mm.
Yeah, they did a good job. They moved on. They're moving on to the finals. They're playing Pachuca. Is that right?
Yep. Props to Max Bretos, who was bold enough on X when everybody was hammering MLS for getting, because they did. MLS got hammered. The rest of MLS got
I made
totally
this comment,
hammered.
I made this comment to Max on his segment. I don't think I have it pulled up. No, I don't. But basically, my comment was like, well, to be fair to those who were bashing MLS at that point, we just did go through 2 incredibly horrid losses. And yet, Philly lost 6-0, which you would have expected Philly not to lose that drastically. New England lost 4-0. That was still a shit show. So yeah, people are emotional and they let their emotions get the best of them, especially if they're not necessarily the biggest fans of the league, and they start saying stuff.
Yeah, but a lot of it was extreme, right? It wasn't that MLS needs to get better because this is unacceptable, which it was unacceptable. It was like, this proves that MLS is a dirt shit, horrible league. Well, there are problems with MLS. There is no fucking doubt about it. But what Columbus is proving is that if you have some decent players and an actual really good coach, a really good manager, you can compete with the Mexican teams. And they're going to go to the finals. We'll see what they do against Pachuca. But, I mean, they've shown that they can handle this. So congrats to them and Aiden Morris for that pretty awesome steal and goal. That was pretty cool.
We got our favorite MLS sports lawyer here. I don't know if he's actually worked for MLS, but he covers MLS a lot.
Can I just say, I think Aiden Morris, it's time for him to go to Europe. I don't know if that's Holland.
Wait, you're cutting all my topics up.
Oh.
Stick to the topic, Derek.
Okay, Andrew the dumbass Wisnowski, who I don't know how he has a law degree because he's one of the dumbest people I've ever met on X. An American club from a Rust Belt city that was saved by its fans thumped one of the biggest clubs in Mexico over 2 legs to go to Continental Final with the man of the match coming from their academy. But sure, we can't get Wrexham-like stories in American soccer. Oh, all right. Why is he all hung up with the Wrexham thing? Why do we need to? I know the media has been comparing, and people have been comparing Wrexham and MLS. And
hype train, yeah.
Isn't this awesome that Wrexham can do what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
And MLS, look at that shitbag league. Yeah, I get it. This actually isn't one of his dumbest comments, but it's certainly, I get where he's coming with his irritation.
So, first off, you have a solid MLS side beating a bit better Liga MX side.
A teammate was supposed to beat them.
Hey, congrats. They ended up winning the match handedly. But the comparison to this 2-legged window compared to back-to-back promotions is not apples to apples.
No, it's not.
So there's a reason why we get the Wrexham-like stories, is because it's back-to-back promotions, and that it's something phenomenal to see. Now, you also have the hype train that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McEnany bring to the table, and that hype train gets picked up by a lot more journalists, but it's not the same thing, and it's
they're not really things we need to be comparing.
This isn't Miracle on Ice. It's not like USA playing Russia. It is legitimately a good MLS side beating a better Liga MX side.
Using Wrexham as your argument for P&R is fine. If you want to make that argument, go ahead and do it. But that doesn't mean that everything going on in MLS is absolute serious garbage. Because what's going on in Columbus right now, they just won the MLS title. They're the only team. What's going on there with Wilfred Nancy is special. What they're doing it's pretty nice. So, it's happening. I wish it were, my friend, but I don't think it is.
The memes are coming.
More than likely, Wilfred Nancy's going to end up in France, or he's going to, coaching Montpellier or, Sochaux, or, who knows where he ends up in France coaching. But he's probably not going to be around much longer, maybe one more season after this. But he is a hot commodity right now, and more than likely he'll be going somewhere else to coach because, what he's doing with what is on paper a pretty decent team, but not supposed to beat Monterey. And they've handled themselves away and at home, but mostly away like total champs. They didn't just win that game versus Monterey. They spanked Monterey. They spanked them. Yes, last night. Or was it last night or the night before? I'm running out. I can't keep track of my days. But Nancy is a super system guy. I agree with that, but he can do that. This is a club team.
Yeah.
Unlike Greg. And I would guess that, like most national team managers, where you don't have the time to create a robust system, you just don't do it because you can't. There's not enough time to joystick all your players. But even though he is a systems guy and there is positional play in Nancy's system, there's a lot of free-spirited movement too. It seems like there are triggers in his system for counters. There are for quick transition. Those are triggers. So there's a lot of free-flowing play going forward, which is really nice.
Remember the Onstad quote that I pulled up, talking about how when Greg was coaching at Columbus and they beat New York Red Bulls, but they played in a very direct, very counter-attacky style.
Yeah.
That after the game, even though they won the game, Greg's like, we're never going to play like that again.
What an idiot. It just
I know it just got us the 3 points, but we're never going to do that again.
It just won you the game, Greg.
Keep it in mind. You don't have to play that way, but keep it in mind. Sometimes you're going to have to play that way.
Yes. And sometimes it's the most effective way to play against, let's say, Red Bull ball, is to get it past the first two lines in the air. That's just smart. Unless you want to, with a high press coming at you, play out of the back all day and make mistakes. That's exactly what Red Bull want you to do. Go ahead, try to play out of the back. We're gonna swarm you.
Mm-hmm.
But that leaves their back line very vulnerable. And so a ball over the top, that's gonna win you the game. And that's what he did. And then he came out and said that stupid shit. So Jimmy O.
Don't worry about Charles, just do Jimmy's.
Okay. As he's been for a while, Aiden Morris is better than Leonard Maloney at Oh no, Jimmy, no. No, Jimmy, don't go there. Morris still has limited attributes and shouldn't be anything more than the fourth DM in a single pivot, but he's improved under Nancy. He's a decent player, but he needs to go. Needs to go and test himself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can possibly say he's better than Leonard Maloney. Maybe he's better at Leonard Maloney at certain things.
Yep.
But Leonard's proving it at one of the highest levels in Europe, in the Bundesliga.
Derek, it's like you read my response to Jimmy and are reading it verbatim,
Oh, well.
That's basically my point, was like, it's possible that Aiden might be better at certain aspects, like moving into the attack as well as playing that D role, but also moving into the attack, because that's one thing that Maloney doesn't do for Heidenheim, is he doesn't really get into the attack at all.
No.
He does his job is to break up the opposition's attack, distribute the ball out to start the attack, and then he just sits there and he runs around a lot and covers up a lot of space, but he's covering up a lot of the passing lanes. It's his big strength.
Right. He sits in what's called a defensive pocket. Yeah. I mean, you see that. That's what Adams does. He breaks down the lanes by sitting in the pocket point that cuts off all lanes and all angles it passes. Any breakout passes. And then he destroys. If you come at him, he's going to destroy you. You're not going to get by him one-on-one. You can say all you want about Aiden Morris, Jimmy O, but until I see it in the Bundesliga at the same level Maloney's doing it, I don't know what to say yet.
And that's the thing, right? That's the other part of that I made, is that Maloney is currently playing for a 10th place Bundesliga team, and he's a key factor to their success.
Right.
The short spell, because they're doing well all season. Then he got injured for about a month. And it was just loss, tie. It was just constant. He comes back, and all of a sudden they start winning again.
Yeah.
And it's because he does a vital role for them. I mean, they're a team that shouldn't be anywhere near 10th place. They should be trying to stave off relegation.
Right.
They have some decent players, don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying it's all because of Maloney, but he's a key he's key. He's a key cog in their machine.
Yes, he is.
And
so
it allows the attack to do whatever they fucking want because he clogs up that defense.
right. But it is time for Aiden Morris to go abroad. He can't just stay here. If he doesn't test himself more than this, he'll never know. And if he wants to take that next step up, I think there probably would be some lower level Bundesliga teams willing to take a chance on Aiden Morris. The question is, where is Aiden Morris in his contract? How many years is he committed to stay there? And, is he interested in going abroad? I've never heard him talk about it. So we'll see.
Sure.
Some guys don't want to go abroad.
Well, until somebody poses the question. A lot of people are coming out going like, oh, yeah, I can't wait till my contract gets a little lower down in years so I can start vying for some bids.
Right. He doesn't seem like a guy that's going to talk about that kind of stuff.
I mean, I think Nuno is the only one that's come to mind that's actually talked about when to go play abroad.
Yeah, well, Luna needs to tighten his own game up right here in MLS right now.
Sure.
Because he's not a locked-in starter right now for RSL, which is a shocking thing for me. But he's just still, what we always talk about, Luna, is he has these great games. And then in other games, he just disappears. Now, doesn't help you're playing him out wide. He should be playing in the center of the park. So that's on the coach. And that's not helping Luna grow at all. So we'll see what happens there.
Speaking of the coach,
maybe the best manager in the world. I mean, you can argue Pep if you want, but if I were playing today, I'd rather play for Ancelotti because he gives you freedom, right? I guess that's what this is about. Ancelotti says, I'm very clear that there are two types of coaches, those who do nothing and those who do a lot of damage. I try to be in the first group. The game is for the players, and you can tell them a certain strategy, convince them, but then the decisive thing is their quality and commitment. That's how the game used to be played, honestly.
Yeah, this is basically, he's basically saying there are two types of coaches. There's the micromanager, and then there's macro.
Yeah, this is a very bad translation, by the way.
I mean, that's basically what he's saying is like, there's some people who really just have their hands and everything, and then there's some that just, say, hey, I want you to do this, go.
Right, exactly. They're fiddle fuckers, and then there are people that say, here are the basics. Here's what I need you to do out there. Here's how we're lining up, and here's our strategy. Go do it.
Yeah.
And then they're joystick coaches.
It'd be like instead of saying, okay, now if McKinney gets at Dest, I need you to make sure you're over here so that you can receive it to play over here so you can do this, and McKinney can get back over here. It'd be like, hey, Dest, you're the right back. You can get up in the attack when you see the opportunities too, but I want to make sure you cover that back too.
Triangle pass, triangle pass, triangle pass. Oh, overload one side, overload the other side. Yeah, it's so predictable, dude. So Greg hasn't figured that out, that his game is so predictable. His patterns of play are so predictable. You can't say that about Real Madrid. No, I'm not comparing Real Madrid with the U.S. men's national team. That's probably not fair. But, and maybe if you have a team like Real Madrid, you don't need to be a joystick coach. But honestly, look at Pep's teams. Does he really need to joystick those teams that much? And Pep has even fought back.
Yeah.
He said
joysticks it in two-thirds of the field.
And even less than that, over the years, he said, I've taken a more hands-off approach. I'm not as, super joysticky like I used to be. And he does say, as you say, in the final third, I don't have any plans. That's all on the players.
Yeah.
That's
He's like, man, the only place I joystick now is in the bedroom. What up?
I'll be here on the weekends. Yeah. Oh, P. Morton saying Pep joysticks the fuck out of those teams. He does still joystick the team. I'm not disagreeing with that, but he has come out and said himself, once it gets in the final third, I have no plans.
He only has to replace his Atari joystick once a year, though.
And he's
joysticks less.
Right.
And
he has said on multiple occasions he's a little more hands-off than he used to be. Well, Jesus, I would hate to play for him when he was super hands-on, because then you could barely move without thinking constantly, what would Pep want me to do here? What would Pep say? What would Pep say? What would Pep say? Like, you can't go out and play like that. At least I can't. I had to have some freedom to be me. If the U.S. men's national team, this is Tact, says was able to get all the age-eligible players released for the Olympics, they'd likely be among the favorites to pull a medal. Without them, it's possible, but not likely. Here are a few names that are eligible, but likely won't be there. Reyna, Musa Scally, Pepe, Balogun, Johnny, and Tillman. That's all makes sense, except for Pepe. I think Pepe probably will be at the Olympics. Remember, he was the Olympic kit model. And one thing U.S. Soccer doesn't do is, like, they follow the script. And if there's a script, that's why they picked Pepe. Because he's going to be like the major guy they push during the Olympics. Not U.S. Soccer, but U.S. Olympic Committee.
You think if Venezia gets promoted, or if Tessman gets sold, if Venezia is not promoted, do you think Tessman will be ousted as an option? Not an option?
No, I think Tessman will play.
You think he'll play regardless?
Yeah, I think so. I think Busio will too. I think he'll be on the Olympic team.
Well, yeah. So I guess my take would be is if Venezia gets promoted,
they won't.
Think they're going to release? I'm just saying. Well, they're third. They're like 1 point. They're 1 point out of automatic qualification.
Yeah, but they're not going to get the auto at this point.
Why?
I think the season's nearly over.
They're like 3 games that are 1 point out of it.
Well, you can look that up, but
Serie B.
I don't think I'd bet on that.
They are currently. Oh, never mind. They Como must have had a game just recently.
They did.
Caught up. So yeah, they're 4 points out. Never mind. Scratch that. Last time I looked, which was Monday's show, they were only 1 point down. So they must have played a Tuesday game or something.
Yeah, it was midweek game. So since then, it's good for Gioacchini, right? Because he's at Como. Although guess what, he didn't play a single minute in that Como game.
So if Venezia does not go up, but
they lost against Seller, whatever the name of the team was. They lost their midweek game against the team they were supposed to beat, Venezia. That fucked them completely. And Tessman went 90 in that loss, and Busio went 71. So they're out. They're going to have to go. More than likely, they're going to be in the playoffs. And as you know, with the playoff system in Italy, it's crazy. There's 6 teams involved in those playoffs.
Yeah, so they're definitely in the playoffs. Yeah. That's out of the question. But if they're not promoted and Tessman is sold in the summer, do you think I mean, I don't know. I would be surprised if the new team allows him to get released. But if the transfer occurs after the Olympic window,
it'll probably be after.
It's possible.
He's got a chance to sell himself with an amazing Olympic performance as well. Yeah. So, but he's definitely moving up. More than likely, Busio will stay with Venezia.
I would think so.
From what I hear, if they go down, he'll be playing at Venezia next season as well. But Tessman's gone. Either way, he's going to Serie A next season. There are too many teams interested in him.
Not just keeping eyes and keeping tabs.
Right, not just ogling. This is real stuff, real interest.
U.S. men's national team versus haters says it's wrong for me to say that teams should be required to release players for the Olympics.
I think that it's not wrong to think that, but it ain't happening. There's a reason that FIFA is not sanctioning the Olympics as a FIFA window tournament. They don't want the Olympics to become a head-on competitor with the World Cup. They don't want any part of that. They're not there to promote the Olympics. So no, it ain't happening.
Fortunately, they're 2 years apart, but it's all about this. Why would they force teams to release players? They're not making the monies.
Right. I mean, if they did, it'd be like having a World Cup every 2 years, right? You'd have the best teams with all the best players playing every 2 years against each other.
I'd be cool if teams were forced to release their players. I'd be cool with keeping it a U23 tournament because you'd still have a lot of really talented players on teams. You just may not necessarily have the marquee players that you would have at the World Cup.
I just don't get the obsession with the Olympics. I just don't get it, and I never will. I love all the other Olympic sports for the most part. I love the hockey in the winter and the skiing. I love the track and field. I love everything about the Summer Olympics, but one thing that has never interested me that much is Olympic soccer Just hasn't. And it's usually because of what we just said. The best players aren't there, you know. And
even if the U23 tournament, it's still not. They're not amateurs per se. But my point would be is they're not the big big names.
And the Olympic coverage in general, the American Olympic coverage, the women get way more attention, obviously, because they're there every Olympics, and we are not there we haven't been there for a long time. So
and the fact that it's the A teams as well, not an underage thing,
right? And there are fewer teams, so it's harder to get in the Olympics. And then now that we're in it, I'm going to watch all those U23 games in the Olympics if I can get them or find them, which I should be able to do. But because we're in it, but when we haven't been in it, I don't even know who's playing who, and I'm not even paying any attention to it because I like all the other sports in the Olympics too, and that only comes around every 4 years. So I want to see the swimmers and the divers and the shot put, the javelin. I'm going to watch Portugal versus South Korea in the U23 Olympics. It doesn't interest me in any way. You can Yuki. Having the U.S. excel in the Olympics for soccer might draw some more casual fans. It might. I know that's Pete's argument. I think there's nothing wrong with that. If it does, that's great. I think most people will probably tune in for the women because that's the top women for all the top women teams in the world. It's like another World Cup for them.
Yeah,
there is.
It just depends on the quality on the pitch, right? Like if these casual fans watch a USA game versus insert team here and they fucking suck and they lose 3-0, I mean, are they going to tune in for the next one? Or are they going to watch an actual A SWAT team?
Well,
are the announcers going to say, "Hey, this is a U23 tournament, guys"?
No, I don't know what they're going to say. It depends if Fox is covering it. They'll make it out like it's the Jizz World Cup. But if it's not, they'll tell the truth and say this is a U23 tournament. And that's why Pulisic's not here. Like they'll actually explain why Pulisic, McKennie, and Adams aren't there. Unlike Fox, who don't explain any of that during the Gold Cup and get me all pissed off. But I mean, listen.
We all could use another rant, Derek.
Right. You might get some. Don't count on it. You'll get a few casuals. But, once my brother watches the Olympic game with our U23s and the TV goes off and he goes and does his job and it's done. He's done. It's out of his brain. He's still a casual. It hasn't flipped him to become anything else but a casual. And I'm still going to have to call him and let him know, hey, the U.S. are about to play, right? Because otherwise, since the marketing is so poor, he won't know. I have to call my mom and my brother to let them know when the games are on because they're not out there like me. I have all the dates on my calendar. They don't. They're casuals who love the game. They both love the game. My dad too, but they're casuals. Like this is not their life.
I'll say this much about marketing to make the comment about how like even friends of mine who actively watch games, EPL matches and stuff like that. They know like there's always going to be a game at some time on. So they look on USA or whatever other channel that they have,
NBC,
and they go and record it so they can watch it or they're familiarizing themselves that way. But there's not a whole hell of a lot of advertising saying, hey, there's going to be a USA game at this time on this channel being broadcasted across ESPN, USA, various other channels, TNT or anything like that.
It's just USA, Peacock, and NBC in the mornings for Premier League. Mm-hmm. And my mom used to wake up and watch the Bundesliga when it was on Fox. But now that it's just on ESPN Plus, which they don't watch the Bundesliga anymore. My mom's sad about that. But when I said, hey, why don't you just get ESPN Plus? You know what their answer to that was? Fuck that. Fuck those cheats. So they're not going to get that. So now they just do what they do. Every morning on the weekends, especially when I'm there, at least I'm not even up. They're up before me. They get up at 7:30 in the morning, 8 in the morning. I come up for breakfast at 10 and they're sitting there watching the Premier League, whatever game's on.
So Derek, that's all you got to do, right? On those days where you crash over at their place Friday nights or whatever, because maybe you've had a bev or two and you just don't feel like driving back to your house. Maybe what you do is you purchase a Fire Stick and you plug it in, and you go ahead and sign into it with your credentials because or Roku. I think you have Roku at your house,
Right.
And you sign in with your credentials because you're there too. You're just sharing the credentials with your family. You're saying, hey, I know I'm over here at this house a lot, so I'm going to watch games when I can on my credentials.
No, so I've done that for Formula One. Like my dad and I are huge Formula One fans.
Yeah.
And there have been certain sprint races, for instance, that are only on ESPN Plus. That's happened in the past couple years. And so, I bring my computer over, we plug it into my TV, and we literally play. What?
Let's see. You brought your computer over?
I brought my laptop. And so I'll just plug my laptop into their TV, and we'll play the race over the TV screen.
There again. Drop $20 and buy a Fire Stick or stick.
It doesn't matter to me. It took me 5 seconds to set up and plug it into the TV, and it's in.
But think about the amount of joy you're bringing to your parents when you're asleep downstairs and they can sit there and watch Bundesliga again.
My parents will never use that stick. They're not going to use it.
My parents use mine.
They barely know. They barely know how to turn on the TV and watch it. Okay, with the new controllers, which are like gigantic and it has like 1 million buttons on it. My dad's horrible. My mom has to do all the show recording and then show my dad how to play it on the TV. My dad's horrible at that. Like,
same, the Fire Stick is a tiny little remote. It's got like 6 buttons on it.
Stop trying to sell me a Fire Stick, Brett. They're not going to use it.
Bezos wants you to put it on your TV, man. Come on.
Yeah. All right.
Help him document where everybody's at.
Jack, stop talking about my mom. All right. Oh, no, that's BMR. All right. Here we go. What else we got?
What else do we have? Let's see. What do we got here coming up here? We have
transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Everyone loves that transfer news but me.
Whatever indeed. What do we got today? Barca, Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, and Leipzig are interested in Johnny Cardoso. He's valued at 30 mil. Let's remember that he joined this team in January, and it's his first European experience. Yeah, he just got to Betis. Are they going to just buy him, and now they're going to immediately sell him?
Well, I mean, what they bought him for 8 mil or something like that?
I mean, if they could flip him for that kind of money, sure, I guess.
Cha-ching, yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's having a good season. I'm sure there are plenty of teams that are keeping tabs on him.
Barca, I'm not buying that at all.
Yeah,
who's this post from? And that'll really tell me. No, I don't believe it. I don't know this guy.
That's fair. He's a popular fellow.
Yeah, so we're all up.
But this is according to this chap.
Oh, yeah. I don't know these guys, so yeah, hard for me.
He's Cubro L at Real Betis, so he's there. He's doing something there.
He's followed by Alex Calabrese. So I don't know. Listen, the Barca thing seems far-fetched. I would advise him to stay away from Dortmund. They've got plenty of midfielders. And then Leipzig, yeah, it depends on how many players they lose again during the transfer window, because every transfer window, Leipzig are basically, they lose 5 to 6 players. It seems like every transfer window. So they might need him. I'd say fine. You want to go. If they're going to pay that much money, I'm sure Betis will take the 30 million and run.
Well, I feel like that's the thing, right? I'm
Right.
sure that if somebody comes by and says, "Hey, we'll pay you the 30 mil," they'll be like, "Hey, Johnny, they're looking at you and they're willing to pay 30 mil." Johnny's gonna be like, "Damn, that's nearly 4 times more than what you paid for me. They must clearly want me."
Yeah. BMR concurs, and I agree with him. I don't believe any of these rumors. Most of them, no, not at all. I can just tell you what's more possible. Barca, nah. Dortmund, stay away from. Atletico Madrid, I mean, possible, but yeah, Leipzig and Atletico are probably possible. He would fit well into both of those systems, I think. But Dortmund, I don't know why Dortmund would do that, honestly. Anyhow.
How old is Johnny? What is he, like 24?
Gotta be 22.
23. Maybe I'm way overshooting here.
Yeah, he's young. I think he's Olympic eligible, Brett.
We just did that segment, so we should have found. I mean, we should have seen his name there.
Yeah, well, his name was there.
Oh, was? Okay.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, he's 22.
Johnny.
So yeah, I mean, he fits Dortmund's age limit, at least as far as a max.
Yeah, he's not
under Terzic. Terzic's max is like 29 now.
I just don't know with the constant influx of midfielders at Dortmund. I mean, if you were a center back, Dortmund would be interested because their center backs are getting as old as your grandma.
Mm-hmm.
So Hummels, I don't know how many more years he can do this, but he's not. He's a midfielder. They got plenty of those coming in. They got plenty of that they're developing. They got plenty currently. I wouldn't go there. And so Atletico Madrid and Leipzig are okay, but Barca, come on. I mean, he's done great. But do you understand the level of players that Barca are looking for? They're not looking for great. They're looking for jizz all over the floor great. Like, holy shit, that kid's an amazing player. Like, he's been good for Real Betis. He's been very good this season. But he's not jizzing your pants good. So that's what Barca's looking for.
Here's a second segment where they talk about some Premier League and Serie A teams being interested as well. They don't mention names.
Yeah.
It's Pedro. It's the guy who broke it.
Who?
This is the guy who broke it. This is the guy who the other guy gave credit to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fine. That's fine.
Not sure why they added them.
Sancho.
Oh, there's an article. Oh.
Sancho was awesome. Yes, he was untouchable. He played very well. I'm sure Man United are looking at themselves and going, what's wrong with us? Why can't we get that out of this kid? Why have we completely failed to get this kid to play for us like that? Whereas he goes out in the Champions League and plays like a superstar for Dortmund. And then the interview with Jamie Carragher afterwards, where Jamie Carragher's obviously had way too many beers and is drunk off his ass. That was funny as hell to watch. He was all touching him. He's touching him, like grabbing his shoulder and his neck. You could tell Sancho was like really kind of like, quit touching me. Just quit touching me. But, everybody knew because Carragher covered the game from the yellow wall, right? The crowd. So he had 8 pints of beer during the game. And he was pretty goofy after that. So good for him.
Yeah, BMR was like, damn, bro, I was waiting for you to read that article to us. No chance in hell.
I could give it a shot. I had a couple Spanish classes.
All right, let's roll.
El Barça y el Atlético Madrid se interesan por Johnny Cardoso, Tesoro, and Yunus, 30 millones por el Betis. That's just all I'm going to do. And it probably...
We got so much more. Go for it.
No. That's enough. No, I
want to know what this article is telling me.
I have no idea, Brett. What we read, that's what it's telling you, that there are all these teams crawling up Betis's asshole looking for Cardosa. Anyone in here named Johnny? Anyone in this colon named Johnny? Johnny. Man, this is a really big colon. All right, what do we got?
Oh, of course, what follows transfer news is...
Do not panic. Do not panic. Cap them now. Cap them now.
Yeah, look at that.
Holy shit. I forgot that part. All right.
Motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, this one I saw this. With the Dest injury, he can't be too far outside the depth call-up, can he? Yes, he can. I love you, U.S. men's national team, Trev, but come on, man. What are you even talking about? Devin Tanton has been named Fulham's Academy Player of the Year. Academy Player of the Year. Tanton made his first team debut in the EFL Cup in November. He is previously tied to Colombia right now. Yes, he is currently tied, provisionally, excuse me. Yeah, I think he's made his decision for now about which youth team he's going to. Now, we didn't call him up to our youth teams, so that's on us. And if he becomes a superstar, yeah, that's going to be on us. We blew this one.
Maybe he'll pull a Cole Campbell. Is Cole Campbell? Yeah, the Dortmund kid.
Yeah.
Randomly makes a one-time switch out of nowhere.
Well, we'd need Bacon to help us out on that, right?
Yeah. What about Araujo? No, yeah. Araujo, right? Isn't it? No.
No.
The other Colombian kid that was with the Revs.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
I can't think of his last name now.
He plays in the USL.
Not Araujo. It's
no, it's not. Anyhow, yeah, he played for the Revs back in the 2000s. Then he went to Europe, and then Agudelo. He couldn't
Daniel set me up on it.
Yeah, he couldn't get a European passport to play in, or he couldn't get a visa in England, so he ended up playing a season in wherever, Belgium, I think, and then he came back to MLS. Didn't do that well. Now he's playing in USL somewhere.
Man, what there's another kid that we were concerned with possibly playing for Colombia at one point. That was the epitome of the dual nap panic.
Yeah,
but he had promise. His problem is that all these kids have promise, and then some of them just don't pan out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Fossey was at Fulham. He's not really in the picture, but Luca De La Torre came out of that pretty well, but Fulham never considered him a starter. That's why they sold him, or they transferred him. But in this case, you're taking it just one step too far. The fact that you're saying he can't be too far outside the depth call-up, yes, he is. He's not even in the Olympic team call-up. Let's just put it that way. Maybe he should be in the Olympic team, but at this point, I think
be a prime candidate for the Olympics. Yeah.
I think he's made his choice, maybe. I don't know. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, but, even if he's on the fence of deciding, he is cap tied, at least according to this. And I'm going to take U.S. Men's National Team burner for the word.
He's correct.
There's 0.0 reasons why he would have to immediately make a one-time switch at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Feel us out. Maybe get brought into a camp to train and get to know everybody and just see the environment. And then if you want to follow that one-time switch, follow the one-time switch.
He's not.
But yeah, don't do crazy. Don't do Jonathan Gonzalez crazy.
Yeah, listen, he doesn't have to make a decision anytime soon. He'll be playing for the youth teams, the U23 teams, for Colombia, and we'll just wait and see what happens. But to say he's going to replace Dest, I mean, come on.
To replace his injury, yeah. Okay.
What? And then he's on the depth chart as a replacement for Dest? No, he's an academy player. He played one cup game. Come on. Can we stop being silly? That's all I ask, is that I go on X and I have to read anything stupid. That's all I want to do every day is get up. And if I go on X, which I'm doing now on a regular basis, I just don't want to read stupid things, which is impossible right now. I cannot go through an hour without reading 2 or 3 stupid things on. And
you tag me in all of them.
A 20-year-old in academy is not on my worry list. Yes, and it shouldn't be, and that's what we're saying. All right. American Ultras talk. Matisse Albert was seen with Dortmund's U17s yesterday. Seen! Confirming my speculation. This is the most likely a trial ahead of a potential prearranged transfer, and when he turns 16 in 2 years, but nothing is official or confirmed. Yesterday, it says, at the end of the BVB U17 match, there was a player I didn't know. Could it be that this boy was Matisse Albert? Or if he's American, I guess he'll say Albert. The truth is that it looked quite similar. He's an it. that it looks quite similar. He's an it now? An it?
Maybe Dax is playing it safe on the pronoun factor.
Maybe he's trans. I don't know. Why are you calling him it? Whatever. It's a detail. This is ridiculous.
But here he is at his on his Instagram though. So clearly he's there.
Clearly he's there. Clearly. Yes. Will he sign with them? Yeah. Dude, he's a preteen. He's a preteen. He barely has hair on his nutsack. Can we put the lube away? Can we?
A young teen, not a preteen. Preteen would be before teen, wouldn't it? Like 11, 12?
Oh, yeah, I guess technically you're right. He's an adolescent, right? An adolescent teen. He wouldn't like.
He's in middle school or junior high, depending on the location. I guess he's at LA, so probably junior high is my guess.
San Diego's not interested in him yet because he's got not enough hair.
Well, yeah. Well, not only that, but he's also tied to LA Galaxy. So,
right. This is fine that you're pointing this out, and it's good investigative work. But, geez, God, I mean, with the Cavan Sullivan, is it Cavan or Cavan? I still don't know.
Don't worry, we'll get to him too. No worries.
The way that some people just jizz all over the walls about these 14-year-olds is just. Let them be. Let them develop. Were you not around when Freddie Adu, when people were spraying Campbell's soup out of their penises all over the place for Freddie Adu? Have you learned nothing? Let them develop. You can start getting excited when he goes to Europe. He turns 17 or 18. He's at least playing for Dortmund 2, not the U team, but is good enough to play for the Dortmund 2 team. And there are rumors he might move to the big boy team because he's killing it. Like Pulisic and Reyna did at the 2 team. That's what you're looking for. Otherwise, put away the Vaseline. Please. Tom, don't bogart that joint. My friend Selleck says, breaking. The Philadelphia Union have completed its unprecedented deal to sign. Why are we doing this again? Didn't he already do this? What did I miss?
No, he signed a deal with Man City. And the talks was that he was going to get loaned or signed on a year-long loan to Philly to play out until a certain age, and then he was going to go back over to.
Right, but that was already reported by Tom that was going to happen. So now he's just confirming it.
It's official now.
Okay,
he signed the most lucrative homegrown deal in history, and then at 18, so 3.5 years from now, at 18. He can go to abroad.
You know what Tom should have typed here? You know all that shit I told you before about Cavan Sullivan? It's all true and confirmed. Goodbye. Good night. And leave this kid alone so he can develop.
So there's a contract signed with Man City that after he turns 18, he'll go there. Now, I imagine because he can go over there at 16. He's got the passport. He can go there at 16.
Yes, but he has to play on mainland Europe.
That's fair.
So they would have to loan him.
Is that the
It's Brexit.
Okay, that's right. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I knew it sounded familiar when you brought it up there, but yeah, I was like, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. So is the homegrown deal literally just going to be like a 3-year deal at this point?
I don't think
no 2 options, no transfer. How's that going to work?
Don't think it's a good idea for him to stay there till he's 18. If he turns 16, Man City should loan his ass out to some team in the Bundesliga and let him go play there. Of course, they want to loan him out to one of their other, and Manchester City-owned teams. There's plenty of those, I suppose, that he could go to. Was it Strasbourg or whatever? Sure, that would be fine, but I don't think, waiting till he's 18 is good. He needs to start learning the expectations of Europe immediately and start the acclimation process at 16, 17, like Pulisic did. I don't know. That's what I would hope. I mean, he can. Sargent left when he was 18, and it's worked out for him. But didn't it take him a little while to get going? It did, to find himself. It took him through a few years.
Says deal is once he turns 16, City can loan him out if they feel he's ready. That was the initial talking point But I mean, Tom's making it sound like the contract with City now is after he turns 18, he's signed.
Yeah,
is done.
Right.
I don't know if maybe I don't know if that's the deal they worked out with Philly. And that's the reason why they signed him to a lucrative. I mean, what's the point of signing him to a lucrative homegrown deal then if he's only going to be able to be there for like a season and a half?
Yeah.
And then City can say, yoink, you're off to somewhere in Europe.
Yep.
So, I mean, at that point, then City should have just signed him and then just loaned him out to Philly.
Right. I don't know. This seems so obsessive. I don't really want to talk about him anymore. Because it's like, what if this kid fails? We're building him up for such a steep fall. It's going to be devastating to him. P. Morton for $10. Thank you, P. Morton. Here's a contribution to Derek's Thailand trip he needs really, really bad. Thailand?
Derek's looking for some man boys. He must be talking about that the fluff piece we talked about.
Oh, okay.
Those man boys over in Thailand, man, they look like women, and then
because I wouldn't have been that taken aback having found out I made out with a very good-looking woman who ended up being a man. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I don't care. Maybe because I'm weird. I don't know. It just doesn't bother me. Wouldn't bother me. If for instance, I made out with somebody, and they're like, by the way, I got to tell you something. I've got a penis. I'd be like, oh shit. Well, I'm not really skilled in that department, so I'm going to have to probably leave. And it was nice meeting and kissing you, I guess. You're beautiful for a guy with a penis. I've never seen anything that beautiful before. But all right. And your boobs are awesome. But hey, at some point that just wouldn't be my thing. Or I don't know, if I'm drunk enough, who knows? You never know.
That's gonna get clipped.
Well, I don't know. I don't think
I want straight red card fans when Derek and I actually go to a game, I want you to throw on a wig and go flirt with Derek.
I'm fine with it. I'm a little old at this point. I'm not interested in anything. So my younger years, that's crazy, man. I don't care. I mean, I did care. Obviously, I've never had sex with a man before. So not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. Or that
people will be reaching out to you shortly, Derek.
I'm sure they will. But yeah, at this point, I don't care about having sex with anything or anyone. All right. I'm done.
That was probably a good way to follow up by saying or anyone instead of just saying anything.
Yeah,
that sheep over there. Woo!
Yeah, no, not interested in animals. Sorry, that's gross. All right, what do we got here? Thanks, E. Morton.
Well, let me.
Jack Pineda says he doesn't have a very good lady voice. Derek loves lasers up his ass, apparently. God, you guys are really taking this too far. Oh, my God.
Let's cover midweek, I guess.
Okay. Derek, would you make love to Greg? No. Absolutely not. Disgusting.
He's got to go back to the days when he had hair, right? You got to have some hair.
No. Sorry, he doesn't look like a woman.
He could be an A cup. You don't know. Well, very old woman, maybe.
No, he doesn't look anything like a woman.
He suffers from alopecia. Is that what it's called?
Have you seen that giant Adam's apple that he's got? No, he couldn't fool me. All right, Haji Wright.
It grows like a large neck beard to cover. Oh, that's even more worse. Never mind.
Yeah, that's not going to do it for me. You got to look like a woman. You got to have boobs, not giant ones, but you got to be able to fake me out. All right, Haji Wright, a goal in that loss. Which that loss pretty much sealed the deal for Leicester and sealed the deal for Ipswich.
No, it did seal the deal. Leicester won. They move on.
Yeah, no, I'm just telling you who sealed. And
you said pretty much.
Okay, whatever. Ipswich is done. They're in. It's Leeds on the outside looking in right now. They're going to have to play in the playoffs against three other teams. It's rough. It's going to be a battle for Leeds. Why do we care? Because Aaronson's going to have to go back to that team. And then we don't know what's going to happen from there, right? We really don't know what Leeds is going to do, what Farke is going to do. We don't know.
If Leeds don't get promoted, then they may want to keep Aronson because I guarantee you they're going to be losing a couple players.
They are. Yep.
Is Nanto still there? I thought he was.
Yep, he's still there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Somerville. I mean,
Somerville's still there. Yep.
all these players are going to be bolting soon.
Bamford's still there.
Yeah. He'll continue being there.
He's still blowing open goals, just completely missing like total sitters.
Not that ridiculous spin around half volley shot he had in a cup game or whatever.
Well, that was amazing. But the funny thing is, he can hit those big crazy ones and then miss sitters. It's just unbelievable. And then on Wednesday, Jack McGlynn, just as MLS shout out to McGlynn for a goal along with Sullivan, Quinn Sullivan with an assist, and Alejandro Bedoya an assist. You know, that's one of the players, Alejandro Bedoya, that I think Greg put out to pasture way too early when he was fucking around with Will Trapp and all that shit. That should have been Bedoya back there, not
100% agree.
Yeah. Gio Caccini was in the 18 for Como. We mentioned he didn't actually play in that game, but they pretty much clinched second, and they will be going up. And I warned you, and I'm just warning all of you, he's probably not going to be playing much. He hasn't played much for Como this season. And if they get promoted, they're going to bring in even more players to survive next season. He's probably not going to play much. So he might want to start looking around for another team, which is weird because at one point he really looked like a promising player. But St. Louis didn't even fight, just keep him. Lund went 90 in a loss for Palermo, and they dropped to 6th. And Novakovic went 56 for Lecco. They are dead last. It's not even close. They are dead last. So Novakovic, unless he wants to play in Serie C, which is basically like playing in a pub league, he's going to have to find another team. Andrea Novakovic.
Good luck.
Remember when he got that cap? His family was all there, and yeah.
Remember when Gioacchini also got the caps, and we're hailing him as a viable option moving forward.
Yeah,
and he was still good in St. Louis,
and he played games in Liga.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was there, then St. Louis put down some serious cash to bring him to MLS, kept him for a couple seasons, and now it's au revoir.
Their opening season. It was their opening season. Bye.
Yeah. And now they said au revoir to him. And
they got a deal, and they took it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. All right, that's it. That's all that happened because nothing happened on Thursday. There was not a single American player abroad that played today. Not a one. Not a one. So short report this day.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna go into let's talk about do you want to do MLS or do you want to do Gio?
Let's do Gio and then we'll end with MLS.
All right, hold on. I gotta get a.
And when we say MLS, we're talking about reviewing the investors in MLS Indy, and the dissolution of Indy 11, which is what's going to happen basically.
Okay, let's talk about Gio. I had to quickly find a picture of him.
Oh, so let me go get my crow. Hold on here. I'm gonna go get crow. I'll be right back.
It's a piece of chicken that he's dyed black, guys. Just took a little needle and inserted some black food coloring dye into the chicken. Looks gross.
All right.
Whoa, cover those nuts up.
All right. Man, those old bones. I just covered the screen so people can't see my naked penis when I get up.
Yeah, no, I told you to cover it up. I saw it.
Yeah. So I do have some crow here. It's fried crow. Now, the question is, should I eat it? Should I eat it? Because this has been a horrible, horrible disaster for Reyna. Or has Reyna learned something while he's been there? As there have been some net positive, right? What? White people food? Really?
Yeah, they're crow wings.
Oh, Jesus. Anyhow, so yes, eat for Reyna. Yes, eat it. Eat Mr. Derek Ritchie. touch yourself with it.
I was
Okay,
gonna say this is gonna go on Pornhub before too long. This is good. This is good crow.
No, seriously, people. I mean, I know you want me to eat the crow, but has it been that big of a disaster? Has it? Do I need to eat this crow? I mean, we still got a couple games left, right?
Two. Yeah. I don't think it's going to get, I mean, even if he scores in both of them, I don't think the general thought process was that this was a good loan option in the end. It could have been, but for whatever reason, I don't think Nuno really played him all that often. And then when Gio had his opportunities, he didn't take him. He was pretty safe for the most part. Although he played well. I think his time actually in the matches in EPL were fine. He just didn't get a lot of playing time.
So Labrador says it was an unmitigated disaster. That seems like strong language. An unmitigated disaster? I think if it was a disaster, it was quite well mitigated. But unmitigated, I think it. I think
he would have gotten more playing time if he stuck it out at Dortmund. But it wasn't a good situation for him. He wasn't doing well with Terzic. I mean, but he still still get like 15, 20 minutes a match every match and a half,
He's getting more playing time for us, frankly. He's played every game.
No, he has not played every game.
No, he's played every game in the last handful of games, and he got a start too.
Oh, in the last handful of games, you didn't specify that.
And now he's getting 20. You didn't let me finish. And now he's getting 20. And now, it's not the worst thing. I will eat the crow, all right? But I'm just saying, I don't think it was an unmitigated disaster. I think he learned a lot. We got 2 games to go. What if he starts in one of them? Now I've eaten crow prematurely. If he starts in
you need the protein, Derek.
All right. Well, here we go. All right. I made this last night. And man, can I make some fried chicken? I mean, crow.
Crow. Come on, dude.
It's good shit. I mean, it's cold now, but cold fried chicken's awesome. Fried crow. Excuse me. All right.
So yeah, let's see. So he had 92 minutes in the last 5 games under Terzic, and he's had 162 in Forest in the last 5.
Mm-hmm.
Just using the same comparison there.
A lot more minutes at Nottingham.
Oh, that's a good point, I guess. More potential games. Although I guess I wasn't going back to take a look at like cup games or Champions League games because you got to factor those in too. Well, Nuno didn't play him in any cup games.
Nope. There weren't many to be had, right?
He couldn't play the first one he got there, and then the one against Man U he should have played in. More than a minute too.
That was good. See, it's okay. I didn't really have to eat crow, but just to cleanse myself, for those who thought it was an unmitigated disaster, which I don't think it was, I've consumed the crow. There we go.
So I'm looking at this loan. While I feel like it should have been more fruitful in the end.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe if there was an option to buy, maybe there would have been more time given.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Because, I mean, at that point, I mean, you're looking at players who aren't necessarily producing, but are getting time because they can either sell them off or they can keep them for the next season.
Well, they would have known that if there was that possibility, and Reyna knew it too, they knew that his commitment level to the club would have been higher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's always that worry when you bring in a loan that you don't have an option to buy. The guys on the team are fighting for their life and their livelihoods. Whereas Reyna, this means nothing to him as far as his livelihood goes, really, because either way, he's going back to Dortmund after it's all over. Mm-hmm. And he gets to start fresh wherever he goes back. Where all the other guys, they get relegated. Their salaries are getting cut. Some are being dropped. Some might lose their jobs. So this is life or death to them. And I guess, that's something a manager has to weigh. Do I put a guy in who might provide a different look for us, as Nuno has said about Reyna? Or, am I just going to put in the guys and start the guys that this is life or death to them? And the only game he really started was when Alongo was out hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, he started the match after that too. And then he got subbed like at the 55th minute.
Okay. So that's not so bad. That's right. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not sure. Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Because Olinga came in.
So there you go. I ate the crow. That covers me if this completely, if the asshole totally falls out of this at the end of the season, I've already eaten the crow.
I guess one thing it does show is that even in a physical and faster paced league, Reyna wasn't a fish out of water in those limited minutes he was getting. He was out there. He was calm, composed. He was still breaking down lanes and passing. Created a couple of opportunities, took a couple shots. I think this actually probably helped his visibility, quite frankly, because he's no longer on a Dortmund side that plays into his strengths. He's playing for a side that is not playing to his strengths, and he still didn't look terrible. He didn't look bad in it.
Had to play a lot of defense, lot of defense, and that's something I mentioned before this deal was made and finalized. I said it'll be good for him. He'll have to go back and prove that he can play some defense, and he did that.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot get over the people that still say on X and other places, he's so slow. He's not slow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lazy. He's lazy.
He's lazy and he's slow. No, he's languid, but believe me, he's moving. He can move. He'll blow by guys too. I mean, he blew past the whole Mexican national team. He's not slow.
Well, and the big thing is, and you're looking at a fast-paced league in the EPL in the sense that where players are running. And Gio doesn't necessarily just sprint. He's always looking for that open area where he can offer as an outlet to somebody, and he's always moving the ball. But it's different. It's a different type of playing than what you're expecting to see in the EPL.
He takes long strides.
Yes.
And I've compared him before to Gerrard because Gerrard used to do that too. He's a long stride player. If you're telling me that Gerrard was slow, sure. Was he slow at LA Galaxy? Yeah. Was he slow in his prime? Hell no, he wasn't slow. He just looked slow. He was smooth. He glided around the field and it looked effortless and it made him look lazy sometimes, but he's not lazy. Gerrard was never lazy for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And Reyna's not lazy either. So I think people need to get over what their eyeballs are telling them and realize, and we've all met these players before, these players that have really long stride runs. They're not slow. Try running against them. Try keeping up with them. They're not slow. They just run differently. So anyhow, it's been a pleasure covering. We got 2 more games to cover of his. Hopefully we see him get some time. There are rumors that Forest will get some points back that were deleted. So we'll see.
That's a talking point, at least.
Right.
Now, at that point, all that really does is just more or less solidifies their. I mean, it's possible it could still go down, but it gives them a lot more hope to staying up. Because that gives them a 3-point lead over Luton at that point.
I mean, if they go down at this point, they're really hurting. But, All right, what else we got?
Hold on a second. Forest.
Who we got in the last
So
two
they
games?
they play Sheffield and then they play Chelsea.
Win and possible win.
And then let's see here. Luton Town FC.
I mean, Chelsea did just win against Tottenham today. Almost shockingly. I don't know what's going on at Tottenham.
Luton has 3 games, so let's see where we got on the standings. Luton's only 1 down. Was it 3 games then? What the hell?
They might want to have 1 in hand, yeah.
No, they have the same amount of. Maybe I missed a Forest game in there. They play Everton tomorrow. Then they play West Ham on the 11th, and then Fulham on the 19th.
Yeah, that could be loss. So, listen, they should stay up. Although Cole Palmer will destroy Forest back line. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird that you're Chelsea, right? You buy all these gazillion-dollar players, and the best player you buy.
Forest also has Burnley.
And the best player you buy is somebody you buy for Man City that Man City's ready to cut loose. Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's been the best player in Chelsea all season, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not even one of the super duper signings you made, like Enzo, right? So, or Mudryk. What a joke of a signing that's turned out to be. But anyhow, yeah, Cole Palmer's a great player. And
so I think between Burnley and Sheffield United, I mean, I think Forest should, in theory, get 6 points.
Yes.
And then whatever happens to Chelsea, so
tie.
Give them their other 2 points back. I mean, that just gives them that cushion.
If they fall apart now, that's all on them. They should be beat. They should at least get a tie out of Burnley, and if they don't beat Sheffield United, they've got a real problem.
Last and second to last, I mean,
because they really only need about 4 points to really be safe at this point. So, that's a win and a tie in the last 3.
It is funny that if Burnley beats Forest, I mean, that's the last match of the season, so who knows what's going to happen at that point. But they're only 2 points behind Forest at this point. But if Forest get their 2 points back, I mean, that boosts them up to 4. It's a game and tie there. So,
yeah, I mean, we'll see. All right, it's probably.
All right, let's bounce over to Indy 11 and MLS and the new future owners. Now, Derek, don't go into the details of the chart just yet.
Okay.
Want to talk about Senator Todd Young first, or a couple of posts?
Okay.
And we can just rehash what we're talking about before we get into that, though.
Okay. Go.
So we talked about this a couple shows already, but there is Mayor Hogsett came out and stated that Indy is entertaining an MLS team, but it's most likely not including Indy 11 and Ursol, and they're going to include a new billionaire ownership, and it's a talking point for us because we helped bring Indy 11 into fruition. So
basically, what's going on is Indy 11 is looking like it might be extinct. MLS definitely has an outside group of investors that are going to have made themselves known to both the mayor and Senator Young. Both Senator Young and our mayor have met with Don Garber, and it seems that something big's going to happen. There's our Senator Todd Young meeting with the Commissioner Don Garber. And now it's time for us to give you some details of why this is all going down.
Well, he also met up with FIFA's president as well.
That doesn't mean dick.
It doesn't.
Nope.
Hey, at least he gave me a youth scarf, though.
That's nice of him.
Yeah.
Whatever, Todd Young. Todd Young.
Meeting with FIFA president, talking about matches that might be in Indiana. Never.
Right. Not a fan.
I meant to bring this up when we were talking about the marketing stuff of Copa back at the beginning of the show. But I'm hearing a lot of advertising on the radio for the Chelsea-Celtic match that's occurring at Notre Dame.
Yeah, amazing,
I'm hearing
right?
Nothing about anything else when it comes to anything else.
You turn on your radio driving around Indianapolis or Indiana, and they are playing commercials for the Chelsea. Was it Celtic and who? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, they're doing better promoting that game here in Indiana than MLS and Fox are doing promoting Copa. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's astonishing. It's absolutely astonishing how bad they are.
I hear that commercial 2 or 3 times a day while driving.
Yep.
And I know commercials are a tough thing anyways, because commercial comes on the radio, you're switching through the channels. But I've heard that thing 2 or 3 times a day for a week straight now.
Yep.
And how hard would it have been to, I don't know, post something on some of the, maybe they are, I don't know, but posting ads like that about any of the Copa matches?
Oh, it's Brett. It's fucking easy to do. It's so easy. They've made no effort. 0 effort. All right.
So
no, Indy is not playing Indy
No.
11's not playing Celtic. No, it's Chelsea against Celtic.
Yeah.
They're promoting a summertime friendly, better in Indiana. That's at Notre Dame. Than they are promoting. Than Fox and U.S. Soccer are doing promoting Copa America. I mean, it's unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We don't have to worry about what's on the screen now. I'm going to transfer over to our chart here in just a second. I'm just going to lead up to it. But Derek had reached out to a number of sources.
Yep.
Gotten some information and has started piecing, pieces of the puzzle together as far as trying to figure out who's going to be the new MLS ownership that's coming in. And when Derek sent me this picture, he'd written it on like an index card. No, it was probably a piece of paper, but but it's like permanent marker. He's like lines leading this way, circles over there, names written in here. And the first thing that came to mind was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. When they're trying to figure out who Pepe was. Who's Pepe?
Right.
This mail for Pepe. Pepe's not here. What the heck? But it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is because I had 3 phone calls last night. I'm not going to say to whom. Yesterday. The only one I would reveal, because he didn't really tell me anything the rest of the world doesn't know, is David, who is the current president of BYB. He's not the one that broke anything that's outside the news. It was the other 2 calls that really started to give me more information about what the hell's really going on. Because once I knew that Tom Glick was leading the investors, the new MLS investors into Indy, I could make some phone calls and figure out what's really going on behind the scenes, because I know people who know some of the people that he knows. And I'm not going to reveal any of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I developed this chart as I was going on the phone, call after call, circling and going, oh, okay. Oh, really? Okay. I'm putting all these pieces together. Who are these new owners? Who are these new investors? Now, could I be wrong? I mean, it's possible. But if I were still writing for Big Soccer or Soccer 365, I would definitely write the article and say, listen, this is just what I heard from sources.
Well, just like any form of journalist would.
Right. And I'm not saying I'm going to be 100% true. It's going to end up being 100% true. But here's the answer as I see it based on my phone calls with people that I know. Go ahead.
I do want to say this is what Derek wrote down while on the phone call, and he sends it my way, and he's like, "Here's our topic for tomorrow." It's this. Like,
a topic.
Reach out. I'm like, Derek, do you have a time for a phone call? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I need you to talk me through this because I want to clean this up, because throwing this up there, this is going to work. We could have thrown this up and been fine.
Probably, yeah.
But, I mean, I wanted to clean it up a bit so it's easier to read and it's just cleaner. So this is what I get. And this is basically what I got from it.
Right. So anybody that knows, I'm going to just go and explain it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody that knows Tom Glick knows he's the former chief executive for Chelsea. And he was only let go from Chelsea because he didn't take harassment accusations seriously. And that killed him in the press, and they had to let him go. But who did he work for? He worked for Todd Bowley, all right, at Chelsea for 10 months. They've known each other for a while, so this is not surprising. Also, in that Chelsea ownership are Mark Walters. It's actually it's Walters, yeah. And Badad Egbali. Okay, all 3 of them are members of a group called Clear Lake Capital.
Along with Jose Feliciano.
Along with Jose Feliciano. So Badad and Jose Feliciano, who I thought was a guitar player, by the way, they've been out there for a while working on buying teams up. They put out a Chargers bid to buy the LA Chargers, right? Now, they didn't win that bid, but they've been trying to buy up teams. Also, I found out that there's a strong relationship and contacts between Herb Simon, Todd Bowley, and Mark Walters, all of whom were major investors into the WNBA, and actually came together and worked out what each group was going to invest to support their local team.
Well, it makes sense with Simon obviously being the Pacers owner, and with the WNBA being a NBA subsidized league.
Right.
It makes sense that Simon is. I don't know if Walters or Bowley are both.
They're not
basketball owners or not, or if they're not investors in the WNBA.
They're just investors. So they all know each other pretty well. And then again, you had Felicia, Jose, and Baydad, who've been working with each other as part of Clear Lake Capital. So this is what as I understand it, that Tom Glick has been doing some off-the-shelf consulting for Clear Lake Capital.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was told. What is he consulting them for? Well, he's the one leading the charge for Clear Lake in this bid that they worked out with Don Garber. Now, behind the scenes, this group has already met, I've been told, with Ursel. Ursel Osimir is the current owner of Indy 11. An offer was made. Ursel declined. So what you're getting into here is an offer was made. Ursel declined the offer because he wants to maintain control of the team. Again, this is all hearsay.
And then when you told me that, the first thing I'm starting to mind, it's all going to be movie quotes for me. I'm sorry. Have you ever seen Ocean's 13?
Yes.
So at the very beginning of the movie, whenever I can't think of his name right now. The old guy who does lives in Vegas and everything like that, but he's working with Al Pacino to make this new hotel, this new casino. Mm-hmm. And then Al Pacino basically says, yeah, you're basically writing off your ownership of the land and the casino to me for a small pittance.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're not going to do that to me. You can't do that to me. That's what it sounds like to me when you said that he did that to Ursel. He's saying, hey, we'll take over everything. You can be on the board or whatever. You can be this small person of the team, but we're going to be running the team.
So is it all hearsay? No, it's not. I mean, it is and it isn't. I couldn't prove this in a court of law. Okay. But that's not journalism. Journalism goes out there. You talk to as many people as you can and you start connecting dots before anybody's willing, who's within the investors group, to start really talking. Okay. So when you're doing investigative journalism, you're going to have to rely on sources that know something you don't. And if they're wrong, they're wrong. But this all started being tied together to a point where I'm like, this is definitely Clear Lake Capital in partnership with Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that if you put a gun to my head and said, Derek, you have to make a guess, I'd say it's Herb Simon and Clear Lake Capital. That's who's going to be making this bid for Indy 11. And I don't know if I can't say, yes, this is a fact. Of course, I'm not going to say that. I can only tell you I'm trying to piece it all together as best I can.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be looking at Simon being the major majority of the ownership there, and you have basically partners in backing to alleviate that ridiculous, stupid MLS fee.
Right. And, they're all partnering together. These guys are all billionaires, by the way, all of them. Todd, Mark, Baydad, Jose, all millionaires. So it makes sense. Or billionaires.
Billionaires.
Billions with a B.
Our current owner is a millionaire.
Yeah. And
that's the problem.
There has to be some sort of Indiana connection because most of what Clear Lake has invested in have been either West Coast teams or Chelsea.
Europe. Yeah.
Right. And at this point, they're already got so much invested in Chelsea, but they're looking at Man City owning New York City FC. And that's been a pretty good investment for Man City so far. And it's also a good place for them to, have player launch from, development launch from the United States. So, I think that Clear Lake and the people involved in Clear Lake looked at this and said, well, let's get a team too. What's the best market for it? Which team pulls in the most, attendance in the USL consistently over the last 3 or 4 years? Oh, Indy 11. Okay. Oh, by the way, I know Herb Simon. Herb Simon lives in, so maybe we should get on a phone call to Herb, talk to him about this idea. So again, if this ends up being wrong, I apologize, but I'm not going to apologize. I'm already telling you that I can't say this is fact, but I think it's sparking up the right tree. Let's just say that. And we will know more. And once we know more and we can confirm it, we'll tell you. I know that, the BYB president has meetings that he's going to be doing over the next weeks, because outside of that, everybody's in the dark. Although somebody has apparently bought Indianapolis FC already.com. They've already bought that.
There's also been whatever type of bidding you have to place on 2 different sporting locations for
that too
complexes. So
the
ball's already moving.
The city council just approved like 2 or 3 more lots of land that could be used to build a stadium. They just approved it yesterday under the request from the mayor. So even if Indy 11 say, well, screw you guys, we're going to keep our team. And, because they've got a women's first division team too, Indy 11, right? So basically what they're saying is, you guys go ahead with your little development project all you want, if you want to, because if you guys don't work out the deal with us, with MLS, we're just going to go build a new stadium somewhere else for MLS. And you guys will be stuck with that development project and your thumbs basically up your butts because your team won't survive this. So this was in a way posturing. Now, again, this is my opinion. Okay. My opinion. There's posturing going on, obviously. And the only way this works is if Ursel takes the deal, whatever the deal is, I don't know what it is, and becomes a minority owner in the team and loses his power. And I'm not sure he's ready to do that.
So being that we've had, obviously, we have communications with some people, and obviously we were a big part of Indy 11. We've followed up all the way through. Could you see a situation where instead of Ursal throwing together a 20,000 seat stadium, because if Indy's getting an MLS side that's not his, then there's zero chance of him ever getting an MLS side with Indy 11.
Correct.
So could he possibly be looking and hedging his bets, saying, well, if I can keep 6,000 to 7,000 fans, I can make a 10,000 seat stadium, still do all the other projects around it, and make my money back. Whether it was a casino or a hotel or whatever, the apartments, the shops, and stuff like that, and still make stuff back that way. Do you think it's possible that there could be a USL and an MLS side in India at one point? No.
I think the USL men's side would die off, unfortunately. I know there are a lot of fans who think, well, I'm committed to, as I'm a BYB guy, and I'm committed to in the 11, but I think over time it would dwindle.
Fizzle out, yeah.
Right. But there is a women's team to think about. So maybe you still build the stadium, but it's not 20,000, it's 12. Cut costs on the stadium at this point if you're going to stay there. So that's the problem. They have a women's first division team in the 11. So they're going to hold on to that irrespective of what happens, I think, to Indy 11. But I don't know. So part of the stadium there was also to have, concerts and festivals, music festivals there.
Yeah. Maybe they keep the 20,000 seat stadium just for that, but maybe they make the stadium a little bit different to.
That's true. That's true.
Work more for that aspect, the entertainment aspect, or maybe they can start incorporating. I know there's a lot of stuff as far as like lacrosse and rugby and the high school level and the college level and stuff like that. You could host matches and stuff. Other aspects that aren't just necessarily a USL side.
Yeah, rugby worked there if you had a pro rugby team. I think we do somewhere in Indianapolis. I don't know. So Kevin Durham, man, thank you for the $99.99. Well done, man. Brett will meet you somewhere between here and wherever you live at a public park bathroom stall for a quick reach around.
As we found out early in the show, and you're going to see it in a second, it's on everybody's bucket list, apparently.
It is. It's on every you particularly, specifically, getting a reach around from Brett in a public bathroom stall.
Yeah.
Public park bathroom stall. All right. Yeah. So just tuning in, he says, going back to the beginning, but wanted to leave this here. Grateful for the show. We do appreciate it, man. Wow.
100%, man. It's awesome.
That's just that gave me a woody. I mean, not a full one, but
John says that amount requires eye contact.
Not even a reach around. You got to stare into his eyes lovingly.
Staring contest, you and me. Let's go.
Oh, got the Vaseline ready. Yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, reality is that now with those pieces of land freed up in Indianapolis to build another stadium, that means the new MLS team coming in, regardless of what Indy 11 agreed to or not, they can just move forward. And if we're talking about the people we're talking about, which is Clear Lake Capital, we're talking billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars here. They can afford it. It ain't a money problem for them at all. The only thing they want to do is make sure fans come and watch the MLS team, which I guarantee you with that kind of money and their kind of marketing that they'd be able to do for a new MLS team, casual fans will come out of the woodwork from everywhere to go watch an MLS game. I'm pretty sure they would, because there's soccer freaks all over the state. They love soccer. They have kids in soccer leagues. Their kids are in soccer leagues. They'll take their kids to the games. It'll be casual fest, big time.
So somebody mentioned, and I don't know if I brought it up in the previous show or two, where it's like the person highlighted the attendance that Indy 11 is getting, and then they're really like second guessing whether or not they'd pull in large enough numbers to fit a 20,000 seat stadium. And I said, well, no. Well, a lot of the problem is a lot of people look at the Indy 11 team now in USL, and even though this isn't quite like Division 1, Division 2, people look at that Division 2 and their immediate thought is, oh, they're semi-pros. They're amateurs, not amateurs, but they're not necessarily the quote-unquote professional league as MLS is. So a lot of times they don't go to the game consistently, but I guarantee you, if they end up getting an MLS side, if it's Indy 11 or this group, yeah, you're going to see that 20,000 seat stadium filled easily.
It's so funny. Every time an Indy 11 match comes up on the TV and I'm at my parents' house on the weekend, right? They're like, oh, look, Indy 11's on. My dad will turn on the game and he'll turn around to me every time. It could be just a couple months apart and go, are they still in Division 2?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, right?
Yes, Dad, they are. There's nothing called promotion and relegation. I have to explain it to him again. There's no promotion and relegation.
Got that team.
Well, he's maybe thinking that maybe they could buy themselves into MLS. But at this point, Ursel doesn't have that kind of money. Ursel Oldsmere is the owner of Indy 11. I should just point that out so people know who the hell we're talking about. So,
all right.
I mean,
2 hours, 10 minutes, and we cover all the topics.
That's amazing. You were worried about a 3-hour show tonight, weren't you?
No, I said it'd be cool if we, didn't make it a 3-hour show, but I guess we have enough topics we could cover a 3-hour show.
I mean, I wasn't even done going through some of my fluff, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, there's so many things going on. Like, they're canceling Yellowstone. Man, that was a show I was enjoying watching. Now they're canceling it. I thought that was like one of the most popular shows on TV. Whatever.
So, from a show standpoint, do you think it's better to end on a high, or do you think it's better to end after you've jumped the shark and it's gotten ridiculous?
I think there should be an ending, like Kevin Costner dies or something.
Maybe there will be an ending.
I don't think. No,
it's over. They're saying they're not bringing it back.
That's right. It's done.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, there's got to be a conclusion. That's like, you're watching a show, you're spanking it, and then you're waiting for the big, thing to happen, and nothing big concludes the show.
That's the other issue with a lot of shows, is that when they do end and they have an ending and everything like that, a lot of people are like, well, that was crap. I could have ended the show 100 different ways. It would have been much better.
Right. Yeah.
Like Dexter. Dexter was one that was always annoying.
Yeah, I don't remember how that ended.
Spoiler alert if you guys haven't watched a show that's over 10 years old.
I watched it for like 2 seasons, I think.
Oh, Dexter was a great series. But
it was a great show.
They kind of jumped the shark too at some point. But they ended it where him and his the psycho girlfriend chick.
Not a stepsister, right?
No.
Okay.
She perished.
But did he ever do her?
No.
She was really attracted to him.
Yeah.
So
he ends up he has a kid with the psycho girlfriend, and or maybe she had a kid and he became fatherly, I guess. But he's like, hey, go to this place in Argentina. I'll meet you there. And then he takes his stepsister, who died, drives her into a hurricane in his boat, and you're like, oh, he died. But then you find out he's actually at some lumber camp, like in the Northeast or Northwest, and he has those moments like coming back, like he's seeing red again. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you can't do that. That's why The Walking Dead fizzled. They started just making stuff up, like guys that were supposed to be dead didn't die. They come back the next show. Glenn was supposedly being eaten by, and then the next show he somehow escaped that. You can't do that. You start screwing with people, and then they started jumping around on The Walking Dead all over the goddamn place. There was no, linear line to follow anymore. You'd see something happen, they'd leave you on like a oh no moment, and then they'd wait 3 more episodes to get back to it. That's so stupid. Yeah, you can't do shows like that. You're just going to lose people. But, there you go. But I did enjoy the stepsister part of Dexter. Like the fact that... All right. So if that had happened, it would have been completely legal. All right. Yeah. Just so you guys know, they were 2 consulting adults. I also want to thank everybody for coming to the show. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. Don't name your dog Clitoris. Probably not a good idea, unless you just want to have a laugh every time you go to the park with your dog and you're like, Clitoris, get over here. Indy 11 does not have a first division women's team, ? Does not. Yes, they do.
Yeah. They have a USLW team.
Right.
Do they share Division 1 with NWSL?
Yes, they do. Okay. They're both sanctioned as Division 1 by US Soccer. That's a fact, Jack. Look it up. All right. Thank you to all of you who were here through the whole show. We appreciate it. And we will be back on Monday. We got some couple big weekends to come here. And then it'll be awesome. We'll be going into the Copa, right? We'll have to start really talking about that quite a bit in the next month as we build up to it. It is official. Dest is out. We don't know anything about Adams yet, but it doesn't sound good. So we'll get into that. We'll keep tracking it. But again, thanks for everybody and their feedback and their comments tonight, and the 99. Woo! Well, Jesus, that was a special moment. Until Monday, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Mwah!
That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
Muppets. Absolute Muppets.